Hello everyone, today is 14th of March, now it's 20 past 6 in the afternoon Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is new episode of Headlines, short summary of the news that I will talk about in little more detail on my Patreon page in second daily news update later on. And well, that's been said, let's go through some headlines now. And first of all, report from RIA Novosti that this evening, third time for a day in Belgorod, air raid alert was declared. Unfortunately, Kiev regime was shelling Belgorod all day long, and local authorities reported about casualties among civilians. I share on my Telegram several posts about these shellings, and according to latest information, one civilian was killed as a result of this terrorist activity of Kiev regime, and 6 civilians were wounded. Although these numbers may not be final because, as I said, shelling of Belgorod continues. Artists report that Ukrainian side, Kiev regime, sent additional forces to attempt a breakthrough on the border with Russia from Kharkov region, and according to some reports from Sumy region. Russian side was ready for such a development. It's the third day in a row that Kiev regime is sending terrorists that are based in Ukraine to conduct this breakthrough to Russian territory, and well, Russian side was ready for such a development. Day before yesterday, Kiev regime lost up to 250 military personnel as a result of these clashes, and today, according to Defense Ministry, already about 200 Ukrainian saboteurs and terrorists were exterminated by Russian forces. Also, according to some military channels, during the day, Russian armed forces destroy about 20 different types of military vehicles that these terrorists were using, including tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, by the way, which is quite interesting because if you remember, Washington was stating openly that weapon systems that were delivered to Kiev regime would not be used on Russian soil. But as every other statement from Washington, that statement also was fake and lie to citizens of US and to world community. And yet again, main point is that Russian side is ready for any type of provocation for Kiev regime, and quite effectively dealing with the threats that generated by Zelensky and his terrorists. Artists report that former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev responded to so-called Zelensky's peace plan, which will be discussed in Switzerland in upcoming so-called peace conference on Ukraine. Today, in the first update, I reported about Moscow's reaction. Foreign Ministry of Russia official representative Maria Zakharova said that Moscow will not participate in that conference because major topic of discussion is this so-called Zelensky's peace formula, which is total nonsense. And Medvedev also reacted on it, and he said that a reasonable peace agreement with Ukraine would involve Moscow taking full control over the country. Everyone, including those brazen Western liars, understand, he is addressing, of course, Western ruling elites, understands that even in a less complicated situation, peace can be achieved either through reasonable compromises or after one of the sides capitulates. Medvedev, who serves as a deputy head of the Security Council, wrote on social media on Thursday, since the Ukrainian proposal can only be taken with loathing and a sense of shame, Medvedev said he had come up with a soft alternative. This would involve a formal capitulation by Kiev, the dissolution of the Ukrainian government, and the UN monitored election of the new parliament. The new legislature in Kiev would be tasked with paying reparations to Russia and ultimately ratifying a treaty of union under which Moscow would assume full sovereignty over Ukraine. This is a compromise position, right? Medvedev added, addressing Western nations. I believe that based on it, we can find a friendly consensus with the international community, including the Anglo sphere, hold productive summits, counting on a mutual understanding with our close friends, the Western partners. So, of course, Medvedev was somewhat ironic by commenting this way, but by the way, we all know that every joke has some portions of the truth in it, and therefore I believe most likely Medvedev at least partially highlighted Russia's vision of the ending of this conflict, which is that, of course, Ukraine will be divided eventually. Former Russian territories will end up being under Russian control, and which is the entire Ukraine with the exception of western regions. And western regions of Ukraine will end up under NATO control, and eventually will be claimed by Poland, Hungary, and Romania. And of course, there are slight chance that Kiev and surrounding areas will remain on the political map as a landlocked quasi-state under the name of Ukraine, but only slight chance on that. Anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti's report that Ukrainian armed forces resume shelling of Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, and today one of the shells exploded several meters away from nuclear storage facility for nuclear fuel, which is very serious, of course, very serious. And International Atomic Energy basically was forced to acknowledge that there was explosion on Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, dangerous development. Although unfortunately, as it happened many times before, leadership of IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, did not blame for this Kyiv regime and did not demand from Kyiv regime to stop shelling of Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, and we all know why. This IAEA organization just on paper is international and independent, when in reality it's a tool of Western ruling class, and everybody knows this. TASS news agencies report that according to French newspaper Le Monde, Macron still considers deployment of French forces into Ukraine. Okay, what we can do, by the way, let them deploy their forces. And let's see what happens next. Because at this point, everyone is tired to hear this nonsense from French government. And Moscow somewhat reacted on recent extreme steps and extreme statements from leadership of France. And today, the Defense Ministry shared with the public additional information about number of neutralized foreign mercenaries in Ukraine since the beginning of special military operation. And of course, vast majority of those mercenaries are only disguised as such. In reality, they are, of course, military personnel of NATO member states, including citizens of France. And according to Russian Defense Ministry, already 147 French citizens were neutralized in Ukraine. Yet again, vast majority, most likely, fighters of French Foreign Legion and French special forces or secret services. And of course, Defense Ministry share more information about mercenaries that were neutralized from different countries, and all the details, by the way, about every single news that I'm talking about in this short video will be discussed with more details, of course, on my Patreon page. In the second update, TASS news agencies report with the headline that Stoltenberg, head of NATO, officially recognized and stated today that Kyiv regime was conducting strikes on Russian Black Sea fleet with weapon systems, missiles that were delivered to Kyiv regime by NATO member states. Of course, we all know this. Why Stoltenberg is bragging about it openly and basically pushing this war towards further escalation, I don't know what he wants, what he's trying to achieve. I mean, but he's too stupid, man. So Who knows what is going on in his idiot head, or brainless head, let's say. RIA Novosti's report that Bundestag, German parliament, once again voted against deliveries of Taurus long-range missiles into Ukraine. This topic is not going away. Topic of these Taurus missiles. Almost on daily basis we have some additional reporting about it in media here in Russia, in the Western media outlets. RIA Novosti's report, by the way, that in Texas today, just about like hour and a half ago, maybe a little more, a Starship was launched, biggest rocket ever built on this planet. Of course, this rocket belongs to SpaceX, and I was watching live this launch. Unfortunately, both stages, I mean boosting stage and Starship itself was lost during the descent, but launch was a huge success. Launch was huge success because on initial stages of this launch, both booster and Starship performed as they should, according to plan that Starship that SpaceX had. So of course lessons will be learned. SpaceX scientists will improve this missile, and I believe it's only a matter of like several years maximum, and we will see regular launches of this great project that may revolutionize space travel forever. So congratulations to SpaceX, of course, and all the scientists and personnel of this company. Great achievement on their part. RIA Novosti's report that Royal Navy of United Kingdom reported today about attack on yet another civilian or commercial vessel not far away from Yemeni coast. In this particular case, 50 nautical miles away, excuse me, on southeast side from Aden port of Yemen. According to information, this vessel was not damaged, but well, information itself is of course very serious. As I said many times, this intervention of US and UK and bombing campaign that they are conducting against Yemeni Houthis only escalated situation in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. RIA Novosti's report that according to Business Insider, US leadership is now preparing army for possible hostilities in the cold regions of this world, namely, to be more precise, in northern regions of this planet. As we all know, nowadays world is entering this severe competition for control over the shelf of northern coastline of the Ледовитый океан. How you say it? Arctic Ocean, yes, on the coastline there severe competition for control over the coastline of Arctic Ocean. Russia has a huge coastline, and coastline that is extremely rich with many things: gas, oil, fish, you name it, some rare materials, everything. And well, according to Business Insider, US is preparing now to enter some hostilities, its army to be ready for some hostilities in these northern latitudes, and maybe even in the southern latitudes. I don't know, maybe US wants to establish control over the Antarctica. Who knows? I would not be surprised, by the way. I mean, there are some severely sick individuals in the leadership of the Western world, and they may have any crazy idea that you know. Anyway, let's continue. And RIA Novosti's report that Kremlin reacted on this hysteria in certain Western media outlets and among some representatives of the Western elites that are stating that Putin basically threatened the Western world with use of nuclear weapons in his recent interview with the Russian journalist Kisilyov well, Dmitry Peskov, press spokesman of Russian president, said that this is just hysteria on the part of Western so-called media and some politicians. In reality, Putin said that Putin answered on the question if Russia is ready for nuclear war, that yes, Russia is ready. Although, of course, Russia wants to avoid this level of escalation, but if it comes to it, then yes, Russia is ready. Which is, I mean, what other answer you may expect on such a question? Of course, Russia should be ready, because that's why, to use its nukes, because that's why it has nukes in the first place, to defend itself if it's necessary with the nukes. So why this hysteria in some groups of the Western so-called elites? I don't know. Are they expecting that they're gonna escalate with Russia forever and Moscow not gonna react, or what? Of course Moscow will react, and Moscow's reaction will mean that entire this Western so-called elite is dead. As simple as that. And no bunker gonna save them. It's just not happening. No bunker on this planet gonna save them if it comes to nuclear exchange. They know it, and some of them are panicking now because starting to realize that, you know what, they are playing with fire, with nuclear fire. Anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti's report that observers from 106 countries, by the way, are in Russia and will monitor presidential elections that will start tomorrow on 15th of March and last for 3 days from tomorrow to 17th of March. Quite a big number, of course, countries, quite a big interest, although results of the elections are known for everybody. Of course, current president of Russian Federation will win with a huge support, because that's objective reality here on the ground. But still, by the way, I think Western ruling class may not recognize these elections. Let's see. Some countries will recognize because, for example, Hungary, Slovakia, some others that are trying to act as independent and maintain their independence or sovereignty. Of course, they will act as adequate countries and they will recognize objective reality. But some other countries in the collective West may not recognize these elections, although who cares, man? I mean, really. Me personally, I just don't care. I don't think anybody cares in Russia what, for example, Brussels will recognize or not. I don't care about anything in connection with Brussels, anything at all. So it is what it is. Or Washington, for that matter, or Berlin or Paris, man. All I want, if you ask me, is to, you know, if it's possible even, to somehow rebuild relationships, at least to the level of working relationships. Of course, it's impossible today, tomorrow, or in years to come, but maybe in, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 decades. That's all, because I want people to be friendly to each other and to support each other. But when it comes to political decision-making process in the West, who cares, man? Who cares? Current ruling elites of the West are main danger for entire humanity. And this is true, by the way. This is factual. And finally, International Energy Agency is reporting that in 2024, world may face energy shortages, and shortages, to be more precise, shortages of oil on the market, especially due to cuttings of oil exports, crude exports by major oil producer countries in OPEC and OPEC plus countries in general. Russia is not part of OPEC, but Russia is closely communicating with OPEC, and that's why this organization called now OPEC plus, because it's Russia also in this club. Maybe, even if not as a member. And this is it for now. Hopefully you will find this quite long update, but hopefully you will find this still short video interesting and useful. And if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. More likes and comments most likely will help me to reach a wider audience, to deal with the algorithms on both platforms, YouTube and Rumble, and to reach wider audience. And for a very same reason, if you can, please share links to my videos or my channels with your friends on any of the platforms that you are actively using. And if you think this channel is useful, interesting, informative, and deserves to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee no more, man. Unfortunately, I was cancelled on Buy Me a Coffee, and I'm using now Boosty. So yes, through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. Basically, this Headlines program is a promotion of my Patreon page, because second updates are on a Patreon. And yes, I mean, if you're considering to support my work, please subscribe to my Patreon. That will be great support, of course. All the links are in the description box or in the pinned comment. Have a great day and take care. Thank you for your attention.